All right, guys, welcome to week 5 of online learning. We are ready to talk about weather. We're completely done with geology. We are moving on to something entirely new. So, if anyone knows technically what the study of weather is called, we would call that meteorology. So, a meteorologist is someone who you see in the news and they actually put a lot of time into researching and observing the weather and trying to predict what the weather will be like in the next upcoming days. So we're going to be studying meteorology. What we're going to do to kick off this unit is we will be completing a weather log. And here is the Google Doc with the directions, which you can go back to at any time. I'm just going to bring up the log quickly. So this is an Excel spreadsheet, and I have some of it filled out as an example. We're going to go back to this, but let's just look at some of the factors that we will need to include in our weather log. So we need the date, the time, I need to put AM, the actual temperature, relative humidity, dew point, pressure, wind direction, wind speed, cloud type, cloud coverage, precipitation type, and amount of precipitation. So to get all this information, we're going to use the Weather Underground website, which I provided to you. So I'm just going to go back here. So once you click on the link, this is what you're going to see. Okay, so one of the first things that you want to do so we get the correct weather for our correct location is you want to type in the search box and you want to type in your location. It could be Selinsgrove, it could be Kratzerville, Lewisburg, wherever you are. So I'm going to click Selinsgrove because that's where I am. And I want to locate these tabs at the top. And the one that I'm going to use to complete my weather log, if I click on the hourly tab. Okay. So I want to scroll down and find the topmost row. So the top row, that's the information I want to use to complete this. Okay. So although technically right now it's 10:14 a.m., I'm going to use the weather for 11. Okay, so I'm going to use this row. So there are some additional factors here that you don't need in your log. So we need the date, we need the time, we need the actual temperature, we don't need feels like, we don't need the chance of precipitation, we need the amount of precipitation, we need cloud coverage, we need dew point, humidity, wind speed, and pressure. So pressure is going to be a little bit tricky, and I'll talk about that. But I'm going to go back to my log, and I filled it out already. Okay. One thing we want to make sure is at the top, can everyone see this? We want to put in our location. So I'm just going to put in Selinsgrove. And it looks like I filled out everything. One factor that the website will not tell you, it will not tell you the cloud type. So what we want to do is we want to use the resources I provided. One of them is the clouds PowerPoint. So I don't know if you remember from 6th grade, but we do have the 3 basic cloud types, cumulus. Sorry, my recording window, I made it smaller. Okay, so we have cumulus clouds. Those are the round and puffy clouds. Stratus clouds, those are the ones that take it usually the layer form. And cirrus clouds, those are the ones that we describe as thin and wispy, and they form really high in the sky. They typically mean pleasant weather. So if we keep scrolling down, we're going to find the more specific cloud types. So we're in 8th grade now, so we should be able to identify more than just the basic types. So we have altostratus, altocumulus. So this is some of these are like a hybrid. So alto just means at what altitude above the ground the cloud forms. So some of them we have a combination of the two. So cirrostratus is a combination of cirro and stratus clouds, or cirrus and stratus clouds. So if you keep going through all of them, you'll eventually get to rain clouds. There's only two different types of rain clouds, nimbostratus and cumulonimbus. So when you have rain, this will probably be the easiest to identify here. Okay. So I'm going to go with, I think today, if I look outside my window, I might have to go outside or look outside the window to figure out the cloud type. I'm going to go with nimbostratus because it looks more like this as compared to cumulonimbus. Cumulonimbus, boys and girls, this is like your big thunder clouds when you get, thunder and lightning. So chances are, a day like today, we're going to go with nimbostratus. There's also another resource you can use, the cloud chart provided by NASA, and I don't have that up at the moment, but there's a whole cloud chart you can use as well. You can use a different resource, whatever you want, but you will have to pick from one of these. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to talk about is the pressure. I go back to my directions and I gave you a little key here to figure out the pressure. So for the first entry, we do want to put the actual number. So I have 29.71 inches. So 29.71 inches, and I'll fix that. I'll put that in the box, in this first box in just a minute. And guys, once you're done, I want you to delete my example once you submit yours, okay? So only for the first entry, we're going to have the actual number. Then we're going to compare it from each day and categorize the pressure as rising, steady, or falling. What I mean by that, I have a little key here for you to help you out with that. So this is a range. If we have a change of 0.00, 0.01, 0.02, 0.03, or 0.05, we're going to categorize that change as steady. And here's just an example. So we have a change of 0.04. If we have a change of greater than, an increase of more than 0.05, we're going to categorize that as rising. And a decrease of more than 0.05, we're going to categorize that as falling. Here are just examples. So we have a change of 0.08, we have a change of 0.09. Okay, we wouldn't categorize that as steady. Okay. So after your first entry, these boxes, you want to have several entries. There's no minimum, but you should have several. Definitely more than 3 or even 4, maybe even 5. You want to shoot for as many entries as you can within our 2-week period. The more entries you do, the easier it will be to make some connections and figure out what question I will ask you in the future. Okay, so it looks like I went over everything with the log. One thing I want to point out is to make sure you go to File and make your own copy, and make sure you save it in a place that you can get to easily. I know on Google Drive you can look up the documents as well, but you can even create folders on Google Drive. That would be easiest. Okay. So last thing, I'm just going to go back to my directions again, and a couple things at the bottom. I want you to try to complete your log every day. Try to do it at the same time. So if you're doing it at 11 a.m., do it at 11 a.m. every day. 2 p.m., do it at 2 p.m. Every day. And this can also be weekends. So it shouldn't take you that long to complete the log. The hardest part will just be figuring out the cloud type. Try your best with that. What I would do first is determine which ones it's definitely not. So on a day like today when it's really rainy, it's one of those rain clouds. It's definitely not cirrus rain clouds or just cumulus rain clouds. It could be cumulonimbus, but you want to knock off the ones it's definitely not. Okay, so just try your best. If some people have different answers than other people, maybe during a rainy day someone put cumulonimbus instead of nimbostratus, that's okay. You just want to kind of be close to what it is. And again, you can use that cloud chart. Let me see. I don't have the document posted yet, so I'll just bring up the cloud chart for you real quick. So here's our cloud chart. There's a lot going on. And I'll scroll down. Okay, so we have more examples, more pictures to show you. Again, to download documents like this, so this is in a PDF form. Oops. That's just what it is. If you go to the right-hand screen, right, the three dots, if you open it in a new window, then you can either download it or open it with Docs. So now I can open it with Docs, I can download it and save it as a document in my folders. Okay, so, and you can also zoom in. There's, the text is pretty small here, but you can use this to help you too. Other resources, whatever you want. Okay, but try to do this every day at the same time. Don't do more than one per day. So it should be, don't have 3 entries in one day. So the dates on the left should all be different. So I have one for 4/24. I'm done. All right. Any questions, please feel free to email me, or you can use that Teams instant messaging app, or we can even set up a meeting through Google Meet. We can just both click the link and I can answer a question for you. It's probably a lot easier to do that. So just let me know. And happy learning about weather.